Welcome back, everybody, to another episode of our True Crime episodes, where today we're going to be looking at the biggest heist in the United States. Some of these are shocking, some are insane. But all of them happened here in the United States. So let's get right into it. We're not talking about petty theft or a smash and grab. We're talking about millions of dollars vanishing into thin air. Heists so audacious, so meticulously planned. They've become the stuff of legend. Today, we're counting down 3 of the biggest and most daring heists in the history of the United States. Our story begins in Boston, 1950. The post-war boom is in full swing. But a group of small-time crooks have their eyes on a prize bigger than they could have ever imagined, the supposedly impenetrable headquarters of Brinks Incorporated. This wasn't a spur-of-the-moment job. For almost 2 years, a crew of 11 men, led by Tony Fats Pino, cased the building. They picked locks after hours, made copies of keys, and even stole the plans for the alarm system. They were so thorough. They knew the building better than the guards themselves. On the evening of January 17, 1950, they made their move. Dressed in Brinks uniforms and rubber Halloween masks, they slipped inside, tied up the employees, and in less than 30 minutes, walked out with over $1.2 million in cash and another $1.5 million in checks and money. Orders in today's money, that's nearly $30 million. The heist was perfect. The crew left almost no clues, and for years, the police were stumped. The gang agreed to lay low and not touch the money for 6 years, waiting for the statute of limitations to run out. But in a crew of thieves, there's no honor. The pressure and paranoia mounted, and just days before they were in the clear, one of the members, Specs O'Keefe, cracked and confessed, sending his former partners to prison for life. The bulk of the money was never recovered. Now we move from the gritty streets of Boston to its high society art scene, the Isabella Stewart Gardner Museum, a stunning recreation of a Venetian palace. Houses one of the world's most impressive private art collections. But in 1990, it became the scene of the single largest property theft in the world. In the early morning hours of March 18th, 2 men dressed as police officers buzzed the museum's security desk. They claimed to be responding to a disturbance call against protocol. The young security guard let them in. Once inside, they quickly overpowered the 2 guards, tied them up in the basement, and then had the run of the entire museum for 81 minutes. But these weren't just any thieves. They were selective. They walked past priceless Titians and Raphaels and instead went for specific, lesser-known, but still incredibly valuable pieces. They brutally cut masterpieces by Rembrandt and Vermeer from their frames. In total, they stole 13 works of art, valued today at over $500 million. And then they vanished. For over 3 decades, the FBI has chased leads, but the case remains unsolved. The art has never been found. The empty frames hang in the Gardner as a constant reminder of the world's most elusive art heist. There's a $10 million reward for information, but it seems some secrets are just too valuable to sell. Our number 1 spot goes to a heist that sounds like it was ripped straight from a Hollywood script. Laguna Niguel, California, 1972. A crew of professional thieves from Ohio, led by the charismatic Emil Dincio, set their sights on a bank they believed held a secret slush fund for then-President Richard Nixon. This wasn't a smash and grab. This was a surgical strike. The crew rented a vacation condo near the bank. On a quiet March weekend, they used dynamite to blast a hole in the roof of the bank vault. The vault was made of steel-reinforced concrete and protected by a state-of-the-art alarm system. Over the course of 2 nights, they ransacked hundreds of safe deposit boxes. The official haul was estimated at $30 million, which would be over $100 million today, making it the biggest bank burglary in U.S. history. But the crew claimed they found something even more valuable: Nixon's multi-million-dollar slush fund. But their cleverness in the heist was matched by their carelessness in the getaway. The crew had forgotten to turn off the dishwasher in their rental condo, and when it flooded, the property manager discovered their entire toolkit. Even more damning, The FBI was able to trace them through their fingerprints left on the dirty dishes. The entire crew was eventually caught and sentenced to prison. The alleged Nixon slush fund? That was never proven, and it remains one of the most tantalizing what-ifs in American history. 3 heists, 3 different methods, 3 stories of greed, betrayal, and audacity. These stories capture our imagination not just because of the money, but because they represent a crack in the system, a reminder that even the most secure vaults can be broken, the most priceless treasures can be stolen, and that sometimes the biggest secrets are the ones that are never found. Alright, guys, that's all for today's video. I hope you enjoyed learning about some of the most outrageous crimes that have ever been committed in the United States. Which one surprised you the most? Let me know in the comments down below. And if you're new here, don't forget to stay updated. See you next time.